we would be really happy if the ones who are attending, maybe you write to the chat in which location you are at the moment. Then at which location you are at the moment, and also let us know if everything is okay with the audio and visual, and you can hear and see us, and everything is perfect. So yes, one participant from Latvia. So nice to have you here.
Hello from my side as well. And before we start, if we haven't met yet, let us in a couple of sentences describe who we are and what we are doing. Lesia Sauer have quite many different roles, but all of them evolve around people and helping people understand and realize their maximum potential while still being happy and satisfied with their life. And this is also one of the reasons why we talk a lot about the employer advocacy programs and the reason why we believe that employees should be at the heart of any brand ambassador program in any organization in any field.
And branding and sales and marketing also has been a really big passion for me for already more than a decade, almost 2 decades already. And daily I help different organizations and companies with branding, and also employer branding and personal branding. But with Olesia, we wrote a book about personal branding, and now writing one about employer branding. And we started this year also those webinars in English because we have had so many requests from Nordics and Baltics about this theme as well. And every month we will have then these quite short webinars, only 1 hour, but we will give our experience and insight. And the next one will be on 11th of April, same time as well. And then we dig into even more deeper into employer branding and employee advocacy. But today, what we want to share with you is how to then recruit, engage, and activate brand ambassadors. And of course, there are so many different ways how to be successful in branding and employer branding and corporate branding. So here at this slide, you can see two 100% opposites. So both successful brands, if you recognize, then on the one side you see Tesla, and on the other side Coca-Cola. And why we put those brands here? Because they are both successful, but in a totally different way. So Coca-Cola has officially announced that approximately they use $5 billion US dollars every year for marketing budget. And Tesla has also officially announced that they use zero for marketing. But of course, it's not 100% true, because they have like really big and influential thought leader and founder and ambassador who is Elon Musk, and who has like millions of followers. So both of these directions, of course, are right, but what has changed, and maybe why we believe in social media, because nowadays it's a really amazing tool how to be visible for potential candidates, for clients, for investors, and you can do it like with really small costs as well. So what has happened during the past maybe 20 years or even 10, 20 years ago, you had to do a lot of work, also 15 years ago, to be a thought leader in your field. Yeah, even if you were really influential, to get the visibility, you had to have really good contacts among different newsletters, different media houses. But nowadays, social media is a really amazing tool, and this is also the reason why we discuss when we discuss about employer branding and personal branding. Then also we talk so much about social media, and there's of course so many different studies as well. When we wrote our book, we went through quite many of them. So of course, one thing that is important is that you can really save costs, but the people really are on social media, and this is the reason why also employer branding should be monitored, and also when you actively when you are active in creating your employer brand, then you have to think about social media as well, because most of the people nowadays use social media. They spend there quite a lot of time, and they have quite different channels as well, what they use compared to maybe 10 years ago and nowadays. So of course, it's important to build your thought leaders, and also to have more and more employee generated content. And there are so many studies as well how the content which is created by employees and the content created by a company or organization, how more they get visibility and also credibility. So one study what really blow their minds was that if the same message is shared through a company page on social media or through employees, then it could be like it could go like really far. And of course, also one study that showed that those employees who are really passionate brand ambassadors, they are also more likely to stay at the company. So this is also one option, not only to recruit them, but also to maybe have them stay longer. And we have had experience with really different fields in Estonia and also in Nordics, and whether it's a medical field or some other field, then we see that the power of brand advocates is really it's really influential. And our approach is then that you have to also have the personal brands of employees integrated into it, because then they are really interested also to create this content and to be the passionate advocates. And of course, one of the top maybe reasons for HR people why they also like to invest in brand ambassador programs is that everybody needs those top talents, and it's easier to recruit and engage them if also other talents are visible. And of course, what the brand ambassador programs give, they give more visibility and also more brand recognition. But in addition to the top talent, what you can get, of course, you also get other benefits like additional customers and also like many different benefits. So this is also something what we will discuss in one webinar we will have in a few months, how to then get also top management on board, and how to have them as well to back you up with this brand ambassador programs. And of course, successful employee advocacy programs, they take time. And but the positive side is that everybody can be involved, and of course everybody can influence. And what we usually do with our customers, we first of course audit a company and organization and also their people. And we always suggest to recruit everybody who is interested. The more advocates you have at the first stage, the better it is. But it's important to also concentrate and think about the personal brands of those advocates, and also about the goals, what the personal goals what they have. So they have to be on stage, whether it's a real stage or virtual stage on social media. And this, of course, take courage. But if they know what could be their personal benefit from it, and they know really well what are their superpowers, then they usually are quite motivated to be brand ambassadors. And of course, it's really important also to integrate their values with company values, but also to discuss with them what is their why. So this is also one of the really important reason why you should integrate also personal branding in this program, because if the brand ambassadors, if they know not only what they do at your company or how they do it, but also the bigger reason, the why, their mission, then they are really happy advocates and also satisfied employees. So actually, the benefit usually what for all the advocates, what it could be for them is creating their professional image. So not everybody, of course, wants to be a thought leader in their field, but to have a good image in their field, is it in their company or in the field like more wider, it depends from the person. But of course, then they have to think about how wide this influence is, and how this image is created. So of course, it's really important to talk to them what they say about themselves, what others say about them, and also how are they presented in digital world, in different social media channels, but also in physical world. So when they meet different customers or also potential candidates and so on. So and also how can they differentiate themselves? So to be of course also on the in the future on the job market, really successful in their field, really successful inside the company, successful to make career. So to start discussing with them what makes them different. So what are their superpowers? How can they help the company, colleagues, maybe customers, and so on. So these are the questions that maybe people usually don't think about so much. Of course, people in marketing fields know about this, but not maybe in different departments. So this is something that definitely helps to recruit also ambassadors if they know their value and they know how to be different.
It is quite interesting to see the way that different organizations and employees adopt the employee advocacy programs. And as every company is different, also the process would be different. But in all of those cases, irrespective of the industry, irrespective of the size of the company, one important thing about successful brand ambassador programs is the fact that they are based around the values, and the better is the mix between personal values and the company values, then the more successful is the company. Nowadays, we know that especially younger generation pays more and more attention to the values of the companies, and not just the values that are communicated from the official traditional channels, but the real values. And the values are talking to our hearts and our emotions, and that cannot be really faked, but have to be experienced, which means that all of the employees, especially the ones who are acting as active employee advocates, should find something that would deeply and personally relate to them, because we're talking about companies. Companies could normally have 3-5 important core values, but on an individual level, for example, I can relate more to the sustainability, but the innovation must not be something that is important to me. So in case of all of people, one of the most important things in the beginning is to help employees make a personal link between their ingrained values that they live and act by and the corporate values, because different researchers and Edelman Trust Barometer from the last year confirms this once again and highlights its ever growing importance, is that beliefs and values driven employees are more likely to recommend the company or products and services, are more likely to talk about the company from their own perspective, and are also able to present the company in an authentic, their own way, because this missing link between the corporate message and my personal communication style can be covered with this important value and why question. And once employees are able to put together both puzzles, what is important for the organization and what is important for me as an individual, we can talk about integrated communication strategy, where every person who is representing the company, both offline and online, is doing this knowing the overall goal, moving in the same direction, but doing this in their own unique way, with their own unique style. And in this way, we can be talking about true diversity of voices, which can help organization to better relate to different target audiences, be it potential employees, potential customers, partners, or investors. But this is not a process that can happen on its own. This is a part of strategic planning and strategic training of people who are representing the companies, because quite often we see that brand ambassador programs are started in the organizations where overall job satisfaction is already pretty high, and people say that they would recommend the employee, but the recommendation itself is not happening. People in the organization are not actively sharing companies' news, for example, on their social media. And working with different companies in different markets and across different industries, we came to the realization that this missing part of the puzzle is this personal significance and personal values alignment with the company's message. So if we start in the very, very beginning from this value perspective, not only can we create the best sales and marketing tool to attract new potential employees, but what is even and quite often more important, we can unite our existing employees around their shared value, around their shared mission. And then once they have this personal significance, once they know how to share their stories, they start selling the organization without selling, because they're sharing their personal experiences. And we know this, that people in different industries, whether it's offline or online, we always buy based on our emotions, and we buy from people whom we like, whom we trust, and this liking and trusting happens on the subconscious level, and it is directly related to the fact whether or not we have the shared set of values. But quite often we in our daily activities are not giving enough thought of what I'm really passionate about, what are my deep ingrained values, and we are not making a conscious link between the things that are important for organization and the values that I know are values of my company, and the things that truly matter to me. And if we want our employees to come and start actively promoting the company's brand, and also to do this authentically, then this value-based approach is one of the most critical ones, and that it also has tremendous benefits in terms of bringing the team together, bringing different teams on the same page, also helping to organizations and teams to come up with specific activities of how to make sure that those written values are also lived by, that also people who interact with our organization offline, online, with the CEO of the company, or with their receptionist in the office, they would give the same feeling of what is this organization about, and what does this organization stand for. And this can only come from getting the personal perspective and finding personal meaning.
So when we talk about recruiting brand ambassadors, then we thought that maybe we'll share some mistakes that we have seen. So it's easier always to learn from other mistakes than to do them yourself. So the first mistake what we usually see is that people from the teams who are implementing brand ambassador program, they usually try to maybe analyze the employees and pick the possible brand ambassadors who they think could be the best ones. But actually what we have seen during those programs we have implemented, that actually there are so many different people from different departments who would make a really amazing brand ambassador. So you don't even need to pre-pick them, but instead give to everybody a really good opportunity, because some of them can maybe use different channels. Some of them maybe you don't even know that they want to develop, they want to be brand ambassador. And if you choose those potential brand ambassadors yourself only, then maybe you choose the usual thought leaders, but there's so much more potential. And the second mistake what we have seen is that usually different organizations and companies think that they need really a massive amount of brand ambassadors, but actually you can even have 10 or even 5 if it's a smaller company who can do enormous work and give you so much more visibility. And usually if those first brand ambassadors start to be active and engaged, then also others in the company usually join and see that this is quite interesting, something maybe they also want to be part of. The third mistake what we have seen is that quite many organizations and companies talk about their expectations for the ambassadors, but quite few of them also give the insight what the ambassador will get about this if they are ambassadors. So actually there's quite a lot. This is also what I was talking in the beginning, that you have to find those goals which can be really egoistic, but this is like the core motivation for the ambassador, and it could be like really different for different people. So one brand ambassador maybe thinks that they want to develop and make a career inside the company. Maybe the other one, the best motivation is to have a really amazing team. Maybe the third one wants to have a really easy sales process, that they don't have to sell, so they sell like without selling. Maybe somebody wants to be a thought leader in the field or influence some other thought leaders. Maybe they want to grow their network, or maybe they want to make their field more popular. So it can be like a really different goals for different people, but this is the main reason why we always suggest to integrate also personal branding also in this program. And the fourth mistake what we've seen, that everybody of course have also fears, and if we don't talk about the fears, then they still are there. So they are like the elephants in the room, and if we don't talk about them, then it doesn't help. So it's better to talk openly about the fears. Is it like the fear of being seen public, or is it the fear that you post something on social media? Maybe somebody in my network doesn't like it. Maybe I think I am too pushy, or what else. So this is something really nice. There's many different studies about how a small group of brand ambassadors really can make a really big difference. So it can even be a few percentage of your employees, and they can increase the engagement really a lot. But about the fears and about the motivation, how people share the content of company or organization. There's also many studies made about that. So quite many employees, of course, think that the information they want to share and they are willing to share should be useful for their network. And this is also the reason what Olesia was talking about, that you have to align the values of a company and individual so that they know what are the topics that they want to share and what is useful for their network. So maybe one is more important in sustainability and the other one about innovation or whatever it could be, but they have to feel that it's useful. If they don't find the link, then it's not going to happen and they will not share your information. So this is something really important to think about. The other thing of course, what to think about is that how are those posts what the marketing department maybe generates, or who is generating this content for the ambassadors. Of course, they want to share the information that they care about. So this is also the same thing, that you have to find the themes and the different topics that they really are passionate about. And of course, there are some people who share because they just want to communicate with their network. So to think about how those posts can be, maybe some like to have it more, it can be more funny, or it can be more based on facts. So different people have different styles. So the more different content you can create for them, the more possibility there is that they will share. And of course, if they share, they also feel more involved. And if they don't see that they develop, then they are not happy and they can leave. But if they are in brand ambassador program, and if you are also creating their personal brands, then they definitely also feel that they have their self personal development. And quite many employees still, according to different studies, feel that they are not valued enough. So this is also really big opportunity, that if you are implementing brand ambassador program, that to have this really regular feedback, and to showcase the best practices, and to give them really good feedback who are active, and so on. So this is also really important.
I just wanted to add to the statistics, global statistics that Evelyn was talking about, is that based on the actual statistics from a couple of companies that our agencies is managing, and one particular company in the media technology, we've seen that just with 9 brand ambassadors, overall visibility of the company grew not 561%, but 1,200%, and also the engagement on the post has grown significantly. So the power of brand ambassadors should definitely not be underestimated, and I think that it is gaining more and more popularity also in our region as more and more companies are trying to make the most of social media. But if we're looking at global big international companies, then employee advocacy has been around already for 10 plus years, and it has also significantly evolved over time, and the trends which are important, I think, to embrace already from the very beginning is that more and more we see that companies are moving from just trying to make their people share the company's information to actually engaging and even more empowering their employees to become thought leaders on the given subject. And if we think about this topic, then this is really what would make a difference. This would be the thing that would help the company to stand out from the competition and help to create authentic relationships. But all of those programs always start from within, and the way that we in the company see ourselves and the way that we want the rest of the world to perceive us. And employee advocacy can be a very important goal on its own. And without doubt, nowadays, it's the most powerful social sales and marketing channel for companies. But it has much more to that. And it also can help with the people's job satisfaction and well-being, which lead to increased productivity, which results in more happy employees who are willing to talk about their company. And there is also a very direct link between the way that organization is helping people inside the company to grow, the way that organizations help people to discover and align their passions with their job description, and find the deeper meaning in everything that they are doing. So looking at different companies and then working with different teams, it becomes more and more clear for us that this the most important thing is when people really find this true passion for work, when they realize that their job has a very big meaning, that their own personal values are aligned with the company, and also when they can use company as a platform to achieve their own goals. And then they start to talk about things that matter to them. But it's all really starting from within the organization, and quite often we can see that our companies who are ready, where the company has taken a lot of time to develop a culture that supports and empowers people, then their employee advocacy can be just an extra polish to help people really stand up and start sharing everything that they are doing. And in this case, the results can be very, very quick and very significant. And nowadays it also goes well beyond just some program, because what we see in different organizations is when people start to take ownership of the things that they are doing, of their job, they are not only sharing what they are supposed to share, but they are also giving this a deeper personal meaning. And in terms of employee advocacy programs, we are, as an ultimate goal, really talking about growing our own thought leaders from different departments who are talking about different important, for them, important topics. And we're really taking this a step further. So we can look at this in a context of organization, not just that we are trying to promote our company and we are trying to create a work-life balance for our people, or we want them to be engaged in what they're doing, but we are changing the equation and we're really looking at it from our people's perspective. And we also acknowledge that they are not just employees, but they are humans who have different parts to their personality, and they also have not only employee experience, but their human experience. And when we are able to integrate this into the personal brand of the employee, and then when we put it all together as a communication strategy of our company, then we can make the necessary connections with different audiences, using different communication styles, approaching different target groups on different channels, and also helping our existing employees to feel more connected, to really have this sense of belonging, and to really feel that their work also as a brand ambassador has a real deeper meaning. And if we're looking at this topic from once again from the psychological perspective, then we have always to take into consideration the person or the individual, our employee, and the way that this person perceives himself, and whether or not he understands himself, who is this person, and what are his deep personal values and motives and experiences and expectations, but also what are the existing perceptions of the organization, and then how we can change it in a way that it would support the person's well-being, and then further or along the line his role as a brand ambassador. It also involves a lot of emotional factors, whether this person has passion for the job or the industry, and whether this person has a passion for the particular organization that he or she is working for. Because all of those factors add up to the fact whether or not I'm satisfied and loyal to the company, whether or not I will be willing to recommend organization to others, whether I would support the promotional post about new positions or not. And we need to talk and to really look into those first steps of this process, because without addressing them, this behavioral change will not really happen. So what we're expecting from employee advocacy programs is that our people would be visible nowadays more and more on social media. They would be sharing their thoughts, they would be sharing our posts, they would be acting as thought leaders, but there are certain steps, and very important steps, that precede this final step. And if we really want to make the most of the employee advocacy, then we can address this from the very beginning, really achieving win-win on multiple levels, both for the employees and for the company, but also for the wider audience. So in every situation, if we're thinking about our employees and our goals and ambitions as an organization, we have to have in mind this gap between person's job satisfaction, whether or not I'm happy with my job, and also whether or not I have found a personal meaning in all of the activities that my organization is doing. And this personal meaning, once employees tap into this and they understand, oh, this can also help me. This can also help me achieve my goals. I can use everything that all of the resources and trainings that my employees providing, my employers providing to me to advance. Then we can talk about employer advocacy programs that are consistent, that are successful, that can really make a long-term effect, and then it's just a question of what specific goals do we put for this program, but also looking at different reports from the participants of the programs, the lack of consistent training after the initial launch is what most of the employees are really missing, because as Evan was talking about, employer advocacy works when we empower and inspire our people to take a stand, to reclaim the position of an authority and a thought leader in a specific niche topic, but they need a consistent training, and they need consistent support. And based on different training programs and formats that we have been testing for the last 5 years, we have seen that the best combination is the program which has inspirational webinars or seminars, so either online or offline, or which are addressing all of the organizations, so that they can be on the same side, on the same page, and understand the concept of employer brand, and understand the concept of personal branding and how they are connected to each other, but also having a deep dive self-discovery sessions for the people who want to take a more active role in building their own personal brand, in representing the company, and practical how-to workshops, starting from making posts or creating a good bio on LinkedIn. And at the end of the day, the companies that really benefit the most from the employee advocacy programs are the ones who can create a positive habit out of the employer advocacy. So we can really say that the successful employee advocacy programs are becoming part of the culture, and once people take it as one of the important and enjoyable activities that everyone can benefit from, then we can also see our actual results on the market. And it's also one of the biggest challenges for organizations to keep this momentum going, to keep this excitement, to get people to share on a regular basis. And this is the format that we are offering to different companies, and we see that this continuous training is really one of the very important parts of this whole process. Once again, in a way that it can give employees necessary tools to promote organization and themselves, but at the same time very significantly benefiting them from the perspective that they are more happy, they are more engaged, they are more satisfied, which of course results in higher productivity and profitability for the company.
So now we have talked almost 1 hour straight, and we of course would be really happy if you had any comments or questions maybe, or maybe you want to share your experience with the employer branding program. So if you are willing to unmute yourself, we would be really happy, or if you want to comment something on chat then as well, and all the questions of course are really welcome too.